Welcome to the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Please note any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat. For those seeking business license assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center here at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business license can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To learn more about this program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. This webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago BACP. We would like to encourage all attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Please note the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and does not necessarily represent the official policy or position for the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. At this time, I will now turn this webinar over to Mary for us to begin.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'd like to say the sun is shining, but as we know, we haven't seen any sunlight in the city of Chicago for the last couple of days. But excited to be here, and thank you on behalf of Allies for Community Business with our partnership with the City of Chicago and the BACP for allowing us to present to you today our Access to Capital program. A little bit about myself. So I'm born and raised on the north side of Chicago. And Allies for Community Business is the proud owner with another nonprofit of the building called the Hatchery. We are here in East Garfield Park, directly west of the United Center. So hopefully, if you've ever been on the corner of Kedzie and Lake, you've seen this new great building that I'll talk a little bit about further. But what I'm going to first do is share my screen, talk a little bit about access to capital, and then we will open it up for Q&A later on. So just confirming everyone can see my screen. Okay, so Allies for Community Business is a CDFI. What is a CDFI? A CDFI is a community development financial institution. A little bit different than banks. Banks are considered FI, which are financial institutions. And we here at Allies have a slightly different mission to help underserved small businesses. Our vision is that entrepreneurs from any background can start and grow businesses that create what we call this generational wealth for their families and communities. And our mission is very simple. We provide three things. We provide the capital in form of a coaching grant, loan and a grant. We provide coaching, free business coaching, and we provide the connections like we have today with the BACP for entrepreneurs that need to grow great businesses and create jobs and wealth in their communities. Our loans start as low as $500 and go up to $100,000. We offer it for early, emerging, and established businesses at fair prices. Early business, what we would consider is somebody who is a startup. We do startup loans. Up to about 6 months to 2 years is what we consider an early business. An emerging business would be somebody who would be possibly over 2 years of business. An established business would be somebody at over 5 years. We have also been grant makers and administrators to many programs. For instance, some of the ones that you may be aware of over the last couple of years through the state of Illinois, the Business Interruption Grant, the Back to Business, and through the City of Chicago. And so as we manage these grant programs with our partners, we share our mission to provide funds to business owners who will really put those dollars to good use for the communities. We offer term loans and line of credit. And again, starting as low as $500 up to $100,000 for either of our loan product offerings. We are also, we do ITIN lending. So if you have an ITIN, you are eligible to apply. And the criteria for an ITIN borrower is exactly the same as if you have a Social Security number. And our lending territory is within the states of Illinois and Indiana. So if you are a registered business in any one of these states, you are available to apply. And we're a little different than some of the other lenders. As I mentioned previously, we are a CDFI. So we do not look at credit scores. In fact, we do not even have a minimum credit score. And we do not put liens on your personal assets, which means we do not take collateral. We don't want to take your house or your car as collateral. The only thing we do is a UCC filing on the business assets. But instead, what we do in order to get through approval is we evaluate how you've managed your personal debt over the last 2 years and how much cash you have available between your business and your personal funds to make monthly payments to us. Our application is extremely simple. It takes, I've done it multiple times as a test, no more than 10, 15 minutes. And the only thing you need initially is a driver's license. We can approve loans as little as 24 hours, but we sometimes, because your loan application will be assigned to a dedicated lender, they may have to ask some follow-up questions for our underwriting team. Our average close time is around 12 days. Our interest rate is very fair, fixed at 9%, and our closing fees are only 1%. Our standard term is 24 months, but if you're looking to borrow more, especially over the 25 or 50,000, we can adjust if required and extend that standard term. What is the difference between a term loan and a line of credit? So both of our loans, again, through $500 up to $100,000. The difference is a term loan is amortized fixed principal and interest every month, and the term starts if you are under 2,500 from 12 months. If you are over 2,500, the term loan goes up to 24 months. You pay principal and interest every month, just like you would, for instance, have a car payment. And some of the reasons of why you would want a term loan is if you have some fixed costs, you're purchasing equipment, you know what the balance would be of what you want to do for facility improvements. You want to purchase vehicles, you want to do some marketing. Those are the reasons why you would have a term loan. A line of credit is a little different. So you pay interest only for the first year. So if you borrow $10,000 and you pay the interest down and you borrow and you keep going as to borrowing debits and credits of your line of credit, kind of like a credit card, you are only paying interest, no principal on the first year. What your balance will be at month 13 is what will be amortized for 2 more years to then convert the line of credit to a term loan. So a little different of a term loan versus the line of credit. A lot of times people use the line of credit, for instance, if they want to have inventory. They need to use the line of credit, borrow the money from the line to buy inventory. You sell the inventory, you pay down your line of credit. You have payroll costs. You extend the payroll costs, you pay down then your line of credit as money come in. So it's a little different, and talking to a lender, they would be able to walk you through what would be your best options between the term loan and a line of credit. Our approval process is very simple. There's 3 ways to get approved for under 25,000. What we look at for step 1 clients are those where you do a hard pull on a credit report. We look at only the last 24 months of the activity on your credit pull. And we want to just make sure you've had no bankruptcies. If you've had no bankruptcies, then we go to the next question. Do you have any collections larger than 500? If those 2 answers are no, then that's great. We go to the second bullet. For the last 12 months, have you been paying on time on all of your trade line items? And then the third bullet is we want to make sure you are not maxed out on your credit cards. And we want to just look and see what your available revolving debt is. So if you have at least 25% available on your credit cards, you will get an offer at the time of application of 1.5 times the largest amount that you've borrowed over the last 12 months. 70% of our clients get a loan offer at time of application. Let's just say you have a couple of dings on your credit report. You do have the ability to become a step 2 and provide financial statements. So you could either supply your tax returns. We need 2 years of business and personal tax returns, or you can provide your bank statements. We need only 3 months of personal and business bank statements, or you can provide a most recent profit and loss statement, which would be the financial statement. And we would either do a debt service coverage or debt to income to calculate the way you can get up to $25,000. So let's just say you're not a step 1 creditor or a step 2, but because you recently had a bankruptcy, you would be a step 3. We offer what we call a credit builder. Those are for clients that are looking to rebuild their credit. We do, as I had mentioned, do a hard credit pull, which means we also report your business loan to your personal credit. And being in a credit builder will help you increase your credit score. The loan is up to $2,500, and it will get you back to being having a relationship with Allies for Community Business, as well as rebuilding your credit. If you are looking for loans over $25,000, you have to meet the step 1 criteria and the step 2 criteria. So in order to be eligible for over $25,000, you cannot have been in bankruptcy over the last 2 years. You cannot have collections greater than 500. You must be on time with your revolving credit cards, your mortgage, and your car payments. And you cannot have more, you need at least 25% available on your revolving credit card, so you cannot be fully maxed out. You also need to provide 3 years of personal and business tax returns, 3 months of personal and business bank statements, as well as financial statements. Again, we can get to an approval very quickly. We are lucky that we have a lending team of 10 lenders total in the department. And so, working directly with the lender one-on-one, if you're either looking for under 25,000 or over 25,000, is very simple here at Allies. What we also offer is free business coaching to any business in the states of Illinois and Indiana, and you do not have to be a loan client of ours. We offer free one-on-one coaching. You go to our website, you secure on their calendar an appointment, and you can have as many as one-on-one business coaching sessions that you need. We have a team of 4 business coaches, and we also offer group coaching. We have a cohort program, which we call the Neighborhood Entrepreneurship Lab, and that is one of our group coaching programs that runs online and in person. For our coaching, we segregate the businesses into 3 sectors. We have the early stage business with, say, for instance, you want to just learn how to get started. What do you need to do? How do you assess that if you want to really start the business? Those one-on-one business coaches can help you just from a simple idea to getting yourself registered through the city of Chicago. We also have, we help the emerging businesses, those that would be over 2 years. You want to maybe improve your financial management. You want to better market yourself. You want to change a little bit of the strategy of what you're doing. You want to prepare for your growth. That's what the team, the business coaches, would help with the emerging businesses. And for established businesses, you're over 5 years. You're maybe trying to think about, how do I either plan my succession? How do I acquire another business? How do I want to collaborate? How do I want to get outside investors? Our business coaching team can help with all of these programs and strategies. Being the owner with IC&C, another nonprofit, of the hatchery, we offer kitchen space, wider range of services for the food and beverage industry. We are also one of 8 of the regional City of Chicago licensing centers. And then we can also help anybody who is interested in getting certified as a women-owned business or minority-owned business. We will also help you get contracts from any of our institutional partners. The hatchery has 54 private kitchens. We also have 5 shared kitchen spaces. We are also the home with Chef Rick Bayless, where he has an exceptional culinary program called the Impact Culinary. It's a 12-week training program for aspiring young chefs. We also partner with the Garfield Park Neighborhood Markets. And as I had mentioned, our partnership through the hatchery is with ICNC that can provide adult training, job placement for Westside employers, business advice on hiring, etc. As I had mentioned, we are one of 8 City of Chicago business centers. So if you're looking to get licensed, you do not need to travel to City Hall. You can come to one of our, you can either register online to make an appointment, or you can have a phone call, or you can come into the office and talk to one of our reps. And again, we also offer, as I had mentioned, the certification for a WBE or an MBE business. I encourage everyone to go to our website, which is A4CB.org. The application is on the top right-hand corner of our main page, but that URL address is A4CB.org/loans. To schedule a free business coaching session, you just go to A4CB.org/schedule. And again, we ask that you follow us LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and we will open it up to some of the questions. I see there's some questions that are out there. So somebody had asked, so loan payments are due monthly, not weekly or biweekly? Correct. Loan payments are either on the 10th or the 20th of every month, and you pay them once a month. Again, for the term loan, it is principal and interest. For the line of credit, it is interest only on what you borrow, and then it converts to a term loan. The next question is, what is a trade line item? Good question. So that's probably me talking in my former banking. Everybody, whatever you have a credit card on your credit bureau, every company that reports on your credit bureau is a trade line item. So if you have a mortgage, that is one trade line item. If you have a car payment, that's going to be a second trade line item. So every time a company, you are doing any time of credit exchange with them, that is considered a trade line item. Is this a good resource for nonprofits? So we do nonprofit lending only if you have a source of generated income outside of donations. So if you're a nonprofit, let's just say a daycare center, there are some daycare centers that are nonprofits, and because they charge for the kids and the children to come there, then that's a good example of resource for nonprofits. But if you're a nonprofit solely existing just on donations, I suggest you have a conversation with our lender before you apply, because also there needs to be somebody who needs to sign off on the loan. You have to become a borrower. And so some, let's just say, executives of a nonprofit don't want to put their name on the loan. So that's a conversation I suggest you have with your with the lender. Another question is, what if I started the business and don't have as much income as yet? Are you still able to apply? Great question. So startup businesses are capped at $25,000. And again, what we do is we first take a look at your credit bureau, and we could give you the 1.5 times. We do not look at income just yet. If you are going to be our step one client, then you will be eligible to get up to 25,000 based on your credit bureau. And if for some reason you are not eligible for a step 1, then you could be a step 2, or you could just be a step 3. So startup businesses without a lot of income are still eligible to apply. You can always secure a 15-minute quick conversation with one of our business lenders to kind of review how much you think you need for your purpose of starting your business, and also how much you think you can afford. Do we have construction specific coaching? We are a dedicated team of business coaches, are experts in many areas. So we don't have just a specific team for coaching, but we do have our business coaches that are well-versed in all industries. And if somebody else is asking if I want a certification for women and minority-owned business, is the process the same? My suggestion is you secure time with a business coach to review what the credentials are for getting certified as a woman-owned business and a minority-owned business. And all of that is free here at A4CB. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Are there any prepayment penalties? Am I able to make any payments to principal only? Good question. No prepayment penalties. You can pay off your loan at any time. But you cannot make payments to principal only after you've made your monthly payment. So as long as you make your monthly payment, you can also make an additional principal balance payment only. Somebody is asking how long can the loans be extended to? Our standard term is 24 months. If you're looking for over 25 or 50,000, we could do 3 to 5 years. Does it matter how many debts that are greater than 500? I'm not sure, Dee, I understand that question. I'm sorry. Maybe you could add a little bit more clarity to that. Oh, are you talking about maybe the collections? It doesn't, we just look at the aggregate. I'm going to assume this is maybe what your question is. If your collections are greater than 500 aggregately, so it doesn't matter how many you have, as long as once you hit they're over 500, then that's what we will take into account. What options do we have for individuals who need less than 25,000 but have maxed their credit cards to fund their business? So we have the step 2 clients. If you remember, you can either supply tax returns or business bank statements and personal bank statements, and we can calculate through a debt service coverage or debt to income loan up to 25,000. And we will not, we'll put aside that there has been, your credit cards have been maxed, because we're going to do an analysis based on your tax return incomes, personal and business, or your personal and business bank statements. I just arrived from Ukraine. Can I be a part of the program? I don't have any credit score and other. If you are an ITIN client, you can apply. If you do not have any credit established, my suggestion is you would be working with a lender to start with the credit builder, which is up to 2,500. That will actually help build your credit, but you would need to make sure that you are an established business in the state of Illinois, and you will have to have a business and personal banking relationship, because for the credit builder, we take a look at your bank statements on both the personal and the business side. What are the benefits of getting certified as women and minority-owned business? Great question, Yolanda. So there are many benefits, because there are many programs where certain projects that need to come to find a contractor, for instance, they want to get a certain percentage of women-owned business and a certain percentage of minority-owned business. So being certified as a women-owned business or as a minority-owned business may give you the upper hand to securing a contract with a particular vendor. Do single member LLCs qualify as business of the program? Yes. Yes, you could be a sole proprietor. You can be a corporation, anything. Anybody, however, that owns the business greater than 20% will need to be put as a borrower, as a signer on the loan. But yes, you could be a single member LLC. Startup 0 to 6 month means the business needs to have started already or is still in the planning stages. I want to make sure I understand. Great question, Cheryl. So you can be a startup, which is just an idea in your head. And if you need those funds to start your business, we can get you a loan. The thing is, you have to be registered as a business. So if you're in the planning stages, but you haven't registered your business, you cannot apply just yet, but you can go ahead and apply once you are registered. How does a self-employed person who gets paid on Zelle and Cash App verify income? We do use through business bank statements and personal bank statements, the deposits and the credits within that. So in some cases, we would be able to have your Zelle and your Cash App as a legitimate qualified deposit, especially if it goes into a business bank account. So in this chat, and then I'm going to go to the webinar chat, this is on the Q&A side. Will this work for real estate rental businesses? So we offer working loans outside of commercial real estate. So if you're looking to, and I'm thinking maybe this is like an Airbnb, you have to be an established business and you have to have some sort of income on your established business to be eligible. I hope, I answered that question correctly. Next, I'm going to go to the webinar chat. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Somebody says, plan to attend the hatchery this year. That is great, thank you. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay. There's a question here. Can you give an example of what you mean by loan at 1.5 times the greatest amount borrowed and repaid over the last 12 months? Yes, I can. So you are looking to apply for a loan and your greatest outstanding trade line item that I've already kind of explained is your car payment, and that's at $10,000. And that has been, you've been paying for the last 12 months. When you apply, if your greatest outstanding trade line item is $10,000, we will give you a loan offer of 1.5 times that. We will give you, in this case, a loan offer for $15,000. So what we look at is if there's another lender that is willing to give you X dollars, we'll give you 1.5 times that, up to $25,000. So I hope I was able to explain that correctly, but you know, we have a lot of clients that maybe owe, let's just say $4,000 is their greatest, highest loan, and it's on a credit card that they owe. They will get a loan offer for $6,000. So as you can see, it's just the highest amount that you owe to somebody, and we'll give you 1.5 times that, up to $25,000. And that must be currently outstanding that you owe, not like a loan from, 3 years ago. You must be repaying it over the last 12 months. Tisha, I hope I'm going to understand what you're asking here. It says, do you know any more who can be a mentor for business that needs directions? Are you asking about our business coaching program? And if I'm not understanding this question correctly, you can go to our website, or you can just send me an email. You could send an email at loan@a4cb.org. That is LOAN at a4cb.org. And somebody will get back to you within a day, very quickly. Do we have shared kitchen space around the southeast side of Chicago? The only thing I am familiar with that we have is at the Hatchery, which is in East Garfield Park. There are other organizations that, of course, may have shared kitchen space, but we are associated with the Hatchery, and that's the building that we reside in. What is the APR and lines and loans? And is it a set rate or based on credit? Great question. So it is not based on your credit. It is a fixed rate for all clients at 9%. If your business is in your home, can you still get a loan or a grant? Great question. Yes, you can be an at-home business. All of our grant programs are on our website. If you go to a4cb.org and you go to services, you look at grants. We always say go for the free money first. And if you are an at-home business, as long as you are registered as being a business, then you are eligible for a loan. Another question is, what if I only have a personal bank account, but I've registered my business, but no business bank account? In order to get funding here at A4CB, you must also have a business bank account. These are business related loans. And so our suggestion is you can use the personal bank account to get qualified, but you're going to need a business bank account to get funding once you get approval. Is there an option for entrepreneurs with no established business who want to start a business? So if you are not an established business, my suggestion is you make an appointment with our coaching team. They will help you get started up through licensing. And then if you're interested for funding, they will refer you on to our lending team. Can you tell us how to sign up for a coach again? I'm going to go through our website just so everybody can see that, but that's a great question. What would be available for at-home businesses, travel agents who are sole proprietors? So as long as you are a registered business through the state of Illinois and you're a sole prop, you are able to apply for a loan for working capital for whatever reasons you need. But again, you must be a registered business. I know the BACP is going to share all of the YouTube and the slides and everything like that. Does it matter how much debts that are greater than 500? I think this is based on the collection question. So if this is what D is asking for, we take a look at the aggregate total of collections, and once it hits over 500, you may have to become either a step 2 or a step 3 to get working with A4CB as a loan. The minimum age for the kitchen program, that is a great question. I believe it's 18, but you can still send us an email. You could go to our website. There's a way to get kitchen information through the Hatchery for that, but I believe it's 18 years old. And the last question is, can you help with license and permits with the city of Chicago and are also qualified architects? So we don't help with permits, but we do help with licensing, but that's licensing to get your business established through the city of Chicago. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit more complex, you may need to go directly to the city. There's another question that came in. If a business has 3 years age, but no frequent revenue, would you be considered for a loan? Yes, because we do a hard credit pull on the borrowers. That's the first thing that we look at, is the credit worthiness of the borrowers. And if you are a step one, you could get them 1.5 times based on your highest amount borrowed for a loan offer at the time of application. Another good question, do you apply under your personal or business account? So the application is really simple and it walks you through. First thing it's going to ask you is, who are you, the borrower? What is your personal, your name, your home address, and all that? And then on page 2, it's going to ask you a little bit about your business. What is your business name? What is your EIN? If you are a sole prop, you're going to put in your social security number. Again, if you don't have an EIN, but the application is very simple to follow and it will walk you through all of that. Another question came through, for sole props, would you suggest reducing personal credit card debt before applying for a business loan? Well, we always suggest trying to reduce personal credit card debt. Credit cards are paying, anywhere of 18 to 25% at this time. So if there's a way for you to reduce your personal credit card debt and get a loan, especially if it's for business related purposes, you're better off getting it through either a CDFI like Allies for Community Business or your banking relationship, because the rates are always going to be so much better and cheaper going as a business loan than using, credit card debt. We have a question here. Does my personal credit need to be ran, or can I opt out and have them run my business credit only? Great question, Tisha. You cannot opt out of us doing a hard credit pull. All of our loans have a personal guarantee, and all of our loans are personal, secured from your personal credit for business purposes. So you cannot opt out. And just to let you know, we do not report the business loans to Dun & Bradstreet, for instance. So although you're building your business credit, being a business loan, we are not reporting at this time to Dun & Bradstreet. Another question came through. If I have an open account that's 15,000, my chances are better. I'm sure you probably, I'm sorry, let me scroll back up here well, yes, if you have outstanding, you have to meet all the step 1 criteria. So again, no bankruptcy for 2 years, less than $500 in collections, paying on time on all of your credit card debt and your home mortgages and all that, and then not to be maxed out on your credit cards. And so if you have the highest amount owed, not that's just open, that's available, but owed, we'll give you 1.5 times what you owe, not what somebody has given you as, like, let's just say you have a Chase credit card and, they've given you a $15,000 line of credit, but you only owe $1,000. We're going to give you 1.5 times the $1,000, not the $15,000. Great question. Tisha is asking, do we report to credit bureaus? Yes, we do. We report to the credit bureaus. We report to all 3 of your personal credit bureaus. And anybody who is 20% or greater who owns the business must be a signer on the loan. We do not take into account student loans. So if you're trying to use your student loan debt as your loan offer to get the 1.5 times, we will not use the student loans. And we do not report to business credit bureau. So to Dun & Bradstreet, for instance, we do not report to them. I'm going to wait another minute, and then we've got another few minutes. I'm going to see if I can share my screen and just show you our website, because somebody had asked, how do you apply and secure a session? So really quickly, this is our website. And if you want to meet with a coach, you just click on this blue button. If you want to meet and secure and apply for a loan, you just click on the green button. And then if you go here and you go to services and you go to loans, what I had spoken about today in terms of our credit policy is all right here. We are very transparent on our entire credit policy. And what I love on this page is this wonderful FAQ section that you can go ahead and review and see. And again, if you want to schedule a session with a lender, you just click on the button here. And lastly, what I just want to make sure everybody is aware, because we always talk about the free money. If you are ever looking for grants, always go to our grant webpage. It is always updated constantly. Our marketing department is exceptional on this. And you can see all of the grants that if you think you are eligible, you should apply. Somebody asked here, can a person qualify for, if you're interested in the women-owned business or minority-owned business certification, my suggestion is you schedule a session with the coaching team and they could help you with that. Okay, and I'm going to ask the BACP if there are any other questions that I possibly have missed.
I was following along. You hit all of the questions in both the chat and the Q&A box.
Okay. Okay. I think somebody put a question in here on the Q&A box. Somebody has a question about Blue Vine Business Banking. That is eligible for funding. But we will, of course, need copies of all of your bank statements. Do you have a certain amount? You do not need to have a certain amount in your business bank account. Whatever the balance is, that will be the qualifying factor if you're a step 2 or step 3. And could we help with retail tobacco license? I suggest that you make an appointment with our coaching team for questions about the licensing, so they could help you with that. And I think that's all we have today. So I know the BACP, again, we want to thank you very much for the partnership with Allies for Community Business. I know they will be sharing this webinar. And if anybody has any questions, again, I'm going to put our email in this chat here. It's loan@a4cb.org. Go ahead and email us. And somebody will get to you. Again, we have a great team of lenders and coaches here at Allies. And we thank you very much for participating. And again, thank you very much to the BACP for the opportunity. Hope you guys learned a lot today, and I thank you again.
Mary, if you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit by joining this webinar today by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To join the program, please send an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. And to learn more about our upcoming webinars, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Thank you and have a great weekend.